It's the most powerful show on television. High drama with intense energy. A show dedicated to a few brave souls who risk their lives for the sake of their craft. Its in-depth reporting goes to the core and unlocks the mysteries behind today's raciest sport. Motorsports. Catch it when you can.
The Speed Station welcomes you to Daytona International Speedway for the running of the Busch Clash. In the race analysis, today's event is 20 laps around the road course here at Daytona International Speedway, with stage 1 ending at the end of lap number 13. So that sets the field up with a 5-lap dash for the finish of today's Busch Clash. The field will be composed of the pole winners throughout the 2020 season, with the exception of one driver, that being Corey LaJoie, who won the outside pole for the Daytona 500 last season, which is the only other way to be guaranteed a spot into the Busch Clash other than being a pole winner in the previous season. Now, for the first time, let's take a ride-along of this facility with no one other but myself. All right, so hello, everyone, to the ride-along segment. I guess you could say I'd be taking you all across the United States as a passenger this season with ride-alongs in both the Cup Series and the Camping World Truck Series. And I just wanted to go over this before we do a flying lap. NASCAR has remodeled this whole section from turns 1 to turn 2 after some incidents in preseason Thunder testing, specifically one with Kurt Busch where he slammed the pit road access wall when he was trying to come off pit road during a test session. So that wall's been removed. They might put up temporary barriers for the Rolex 24 next season. However, that has been widened out, as well as the grass removed for the Busch Clash here in the NASCAR Cup Series. And I should mention that we are running a low downforce, low horsepower package, very similar to what was ran at Phoenix and Gateway last season, now Worldwide Technologies Raceway. So we're running that very same package. You might be able to tell that it sounds like I'm not hitting too high of an RPM. That's because the rev limiter is 7,000 for this weekend. And what that means is the highest speed that you will be seeing on the high banks is about 162 miles an hour in the draft. You might be wondering why we're doing this. It's because we are utilizing a chicaneless layout of the Daytona International Speedway road course. In fact, from here all the way down to the front straightaway, no interruptions. Former F1 driver Jan Magnussen has referred to this as the closest thing in the States to Monza. And that's because look at how it just turns into a super speedway race all of a sudden. You know, we did the whole infield road course, all 6 turns down there. Now the 4 turns of the super speedway. And you can see, because I'm running by myself, the highest speed I'm up to right now is 152. Down the front straightaway, going to start our flying lap. See how high of a speed I can get up to. Up to 154. Swing it out wide towards the wall at the number 2 brake marker. Get onto the brakes for the double apex turn number 1. You can see, without the walls being down there, it definitely looks a lot different, doesn't it? Now get out of turn number 1, down to the kink. Let the car slide out wide towards those painted lines, down to the International Horseshoe. Very sweeping corner. You can use a lot of the runoff out here to get back to the throttle early and use up that area. Now down to the kink. Turn 4. Down to the West Horseshoe. Another hard braking zone. In fact, I even overdrove it a little bit. But you can expect a lot of passing on this facility today, as there's a lot of heavy braking zones, but especially turn number 1. As now we take turn 6, the in and out, the final turn of the infield road course. Up onto the high banks, yet again. And this is where being the leader is actually kind of a bad thing, because the drivers behind you can start building that draft, get up to your back bumper before turn number 1, which turn 1 is a very heavy braking zone. And here's another important thing about this. no track limits. If I wanted to make a pass all the way down there, say Brad Keselowski's up on my outside, something like that, I could go all the way down here to make that pass. It's recommended, though, that you merge before the banking starts in the corner so you don't de-wedge the car and end up spinning out. And here we go, the final 2 turns. Full throttle, and expect a lot of drafting here today as you get pretty much 2 miles of a full superspeedway experience and a road course mixed in. Here we go down to the start-finish line, and that is a full lap around the NASCAR Cup Series layout of the Daytona International Speedway road course. The starting grid for today's race was set by a random draw, with Matt DiBenedetto, new with his Team Penske deal in the 2-car, starting on the pole spot, with the Daytona 500 outside pole sitter from last season, now with a new team at Spire Motorsports in the 7-car, starting outside pole in 2nd spot. Then Kevin Harvick, Jan Magnussen, Myatt Snider, Christopher Bell, Eric Almirola, Clint Boyer, Kurt Busch, Martin Truex Jr. rounding out your top 10. Then defending champion Kyle Busch, Ty Dillon, the pole sitter for the 500 last season. Denny Hamlin, Chase Briscoe, Eric Jones, Brad Keselowski, Joey Logano, Ryan Blaney, Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, and Brandon Jones rounding out the field. And now let's get down trackside for the command.
Drivers, start your engines!
Just like when we talked about the transporter. At the end of pit road, the last pit box is a timing line. So the last white line on pit exit is the line. Big thumbs up, my friend. Have a good time.
And there's the green flag for the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season. Matt DiBenedetto leads the field down to turn number 1 for the first time. LaJoie gets forced wide by Magnussen. Now the 4-car of Harvick challenging the 2-car of DiBenedetto for the race lead coming through turn 2. Entering the International Horseshoe, they still battle for the top spot. Harvick now getting it coming out of the corner. Through the kink, Myatt Snider has now taken up 2nd spot in the 43 car, battling alongside Matt DiBenedetto. Right on Snider's bumper is the 33 car of Magnussen. Still side by side for 2nd spot. Up onto the high banks out of turn number 6. Snider takes up 2nd. Looks like Matt DiBenedetto will take up 3rd position. Magnussen still running in 4th, and LaJoie hanging on to 5th spot. And for the first time, we get to see the bump drafting at the road course. Already the 2 and 43 cars starting to hook up to get a run on the 4-car of Harvick, who's a bit of a sitting duck out front. Down the back straightaway, the 43 car makes a look down to the inside. Myatt Snider, entering turn number 3, is going to take the race lead as the 2-car of DiBenedetto gets stuck behind the 4. Magnussen up to the back bumper of the 43. LaJoie back up into 3rd spot. And lap number 1 at Daytona International Speedway for the Busch Clash will be led by Myatt Snider, the 2020 Southern 500 winner. Down to turn number 1, Magnussen gives him a bit of a shot entering the corner. Forces the 43 car wide. 7-car LaJoie now battling with Magnussen for the 2nd position. LaJoie's going to take up the spot. Coming down to the International Horseshoe. LaJoie now up into 2nd. Magnussen still battling for 3rd spot on Kurt Busch. The 33 car takes up the position. These two have a bit of a rivalry from last season here at the Daytona International Speedway, except that rivalry started on the high banks of the oval, with the 33 car going through the grass right there in the kink. Kurt Busch now on the inside of Magnussen, trying to take up 3rd spot. But now Magnussen making it work into turn number 6, battling side by side with Corey LaJoie for 2nd. Now up onto the high banks, looks like the 33 car might take up 2nd spot. Harvick up into the outside wall. exiting turn 6. That's going to let Kyle Busch on his inside. DiBenedetto still losing spots in the 2 car. Myatt Snyder, still your race leader down the back straightaway. The extremely long super speedway portion of the layout, as the 33 and 7 cars still battle for second spot. Kurt Busch getting a run up to the 33 car of Magnussen. And here comes the 33, getting that huge run on the 43 car of Myatt Snyder. Already taking the look down to the inside, down to the start-finish line. It is going to be Snyder to lead the lap. Magnussen trying to make it work down to turn 1. A 3-wide move for the top spot. Magnussen looks like he's going to take it on the exit of 1 into turn 2. Now Kyle Busch trying to make it work all the way on the outside, making a 3-wide move for now third spot. As Snyder and Magnussen still battle for the top spot through the International Horseshoe. Looks like Magnussen's going to take the position with defending champion Kyle Busch up into third. Clint Bowyer, after recently announcing this as his final season of full-time Cup Series competition, now battling with Corey LaJoie for the 4th position. LaJoie being forced out of line by Kurt Busch, now on his inside. There you see the 37 car of Eric Jones, switching from Joe Gibbs Racing to JTG Doherty Racing during the offseason. He scored the pole in the final race of the year at Atlanta, which is why he was locked into today's event. Now up onto the high banks, we have Magnussen, still your race leader, above Myatt Snyder, who currently runs in second spot. Now Snyder's going to get the advantage with having the draft down the long back straightaway. And there you can see as well, Clint Bowyer takes a look to the inside of the 7 car. But in the battle for the race lead, it looks like Myatt Snyder is going to take it through turns 3 and 4 of the oval. Now Kyle Busch getting that huge run up to the back bumper of the 43, now trying to take up second spot off the 33 car of Magnussen. Just about made contact right there as Magnussen tried to pull a side draft on the 18 car of Kyle Busch. Now 3-wide move on the inside by Kevin Harvick on Kurt Busch and Corey LaJoie. As in the battle out front, Kyle Busch making a hole on the inside of the 43. Through turn 2, Kyle Busch is now your race leader. As you see a bit of a battle right here between Matt DiBenedetto, Denny Hamlin, and Kurt Busch through the International Horseshoe. Going 3-wide at the moment. Looks like DiBenedetto is going to have the advantage on the exit of the corner. Now heading down into the kink with Kevin Harvick up into 4th spot. DiBenedetto and Bowyer battling for 5th. Out back we have the runner-up in last season's point standings, Kyle Larson in the 57 car. And in 20th spot, battling with Ty Dillon, is the regular season champion of Ryan Blaney, the winner of the Brickyard 400 last season. Now up onto the high banks. Just about 3 cars under a blanket right now for the race lead. Kyle Busch still your race leader above Myatt Snyder, Jan Magnussen, and just a little bit outside of drafting distance is Kevin Harvick. And here comes Snyder already with the run on the back straightaway. And remember, no track limits as here comes Magnussen. Magnussen thought about trying to do a 3-wide move, backed out of it. Now sides with the 43 car, trying to give him a push through 3 and 4. Myatt Snyder easily takes the lead off of Kyle Busch as they're bump drafting on the road course. And Snyder is the leader at the stripe. Magnussen now taking the look down to the inside. And Magnussen's going to take the race lead as they exit turn number 1. Here comes Kyle Busch, though, taking a look on the outside of the 33. Magnussen just barely shut the door on the 18 car of Kyle Busch. Farther back, you can see that Corey LaJoie has just now dropped outside the top 10 in the 7 car for Spire Motorsports. That team moved shops over the offseason, moving into the old AK Racing shop of Alan Kowicki, running the number 7 in his honor. And there you see the 53 car of Chase Briscoe, giving the 10 car of Amarola a bit of a shot, entering the West Horseshoe to move up off the bottom line and giving the 53 car some room. Back up onto the super speedway, you can see the battle's getting even tighter with now the 9 car of Chase Elliott up into the mix, currently running in the top 5. Down the back straightaway, once again, the best drafting zone on this entire racetrack. Magnuson now going to be passed by Kyle Busch, with the 43 car of Myatt Snyder getting a big run down the back straightaway, trying to make it possibly 3 wide. And he does it, the 3 wide move for the lead at Daytona. Myatt Snyder in the 43 car making it work on the bottom. Kevin Harvick now up into the mix, taking 3rd off Magnuson. Down to the stripe, it is going to be Myatt Snyder, the leader this time by Kevin Harvick, going to try to take 2nd off Kyle Busch into turn 1. And he gives the 43 car a bit of a shot. Entering turn number 1, forces Snyder wide. And it's going to be Kevin Harvick taking the race lead. A bit of a 3-wide battle near the back between the 19, 11, and 37 cars, now entering the International Horseshoe. Significant battling all across this speedway, mainly due to the drafting section of the racetrack. The practically 2 miles of super speedway are given. It's keeping the whole pack together. Right now, the 43 of Snyder and the 18 of Kyle Busch battle for 3rd spot in the West Horseshoe. Chase Elliott now up into the mix, right on the back bumper of now the 18 car of Kyle Busch. There you see Brandon Jones making his first start for Joe Gibbs Racing. Now up into 7th spot with DiBenedetto battling alongside Chase Elliott. On the inside line, there you see Kyle Busch trying to make it work on the 43 car of Myatt Snyder, with Jan Magnuson trying to get the run on Kevin Harvick down the back straightaway. Down the back straight. Still the battle for 3rd spot. Looks like Snyder has cleared the 18 car of Kyle Busch, with now Magnuson forcing the 4 car off the inside line. Side by side for the lead. Now Magnuson's going to take the top spot with now 5 cars under a blanket. Snyder now takes a look down to the inside. Kyle Busch going 3 wide on the bottom. Bit of contact right there. At the stripe, it is Magnuson to lead the lap. Down to turn 1. Kyle Busch making it stick. 2 rows of 3 wide. Kyle Busch is going to take the race lead. Absolutely phenomenal racing at the moment with DiBenedetto, your pole sitter from the drawing yesterday, now trying to take up 2nd in the International Horseshoe with a 3-wide move on the outside of Elliott and Snyder. Jan Magnuson has dropped down to 5th position in the 33 car. Bit of a 3-wide move on the inside by Kurt Busch, trying to get around the Gibbs teammates of Martin Truex Jr., who's debuting a new sponsorship with Craftsman, and the 11 car of Hamlin. The Gibbs cars cleared him, however, and now we have a battle for 2nd spot. Chase Elliott tried to make a look on the inside of Matt DiBenedetto, but DiBenedetto clears him through the in and out in turn 6. Now side-by-side battle between the 33 of Magnuson and the 43 of Myatt Snyder. Down the back straightaway, it is going to be the 18 car of Kyle Busch with the race lead, trying to defend a run from the 2 car of Matt DiBenedetto. Some bump drafting down the back stretch between the 4 and 43 cars to clear Jan Magnuson, with the 2 car getting a run right up to the back bumper. The 18 as now we exit the final corner. Pack racing on a road course with the 2 car of DiBenedetto all over the back bumper. The 18 now entering turn number 1. They make contact. The 9 car forces the 2 car wide. Magnuson trying to take advantage of this all the way on the bottom. That opened up the gap just a little bit for the 18 car of Kyle Busch. Now Magnuson battling on the outside of the 2 car of Matt DiBenedetto. Now entering the kink, it looks like the 33 car of Jan Magnussen has taken up second. Behind him is DiBenedetto, then Brandon Jones now up into the top 5, running in 4th position in the 20 car. Bit of a battle for position between the 4 of Harvick and the 9 of Chase Elliott. These two are currently battling for the 5th position. Elliott might be able to clear him on the outside line. Yes, he does. Chase Elliott back up into 5th spot, with Kyle Busch still your leader down the long back straightaway. But the 33, 2, and 20 cars are definitely going to be building a huge run on the long superspeedway portion of the track. Here comes the 33 car of Magnussen. Jan Magnussen easily to the top spot. Matt DiBenedetto up into 2nd, with Brandon Jones taking 3rd as the 18 car drops all the way down to 4th. Here comes Brandon Jones, already takes a look down to the inside of the 2 car of Matt DiBenedetto. And here comes the 2 to the bottom of the 33 car of Magnussen. The 33 led at the stripe, but entering turn 1, it looks like it's going to be DiBenedetto to take the race lead. Not if Brandon Jones has anything to say about it. He's trying to force it in on the outside. Entering turn 2. Can't quite do it as DiBenedetto closes the door on him. Magnussen down to 3rd spot. Kyle Busch and Myatt Snyder currently battling for 4th. It looks like Busch is going to take the position. Oh, Kurt Busch off into the grass. Was turned into the grass by, I believe, Brad Keselowski. Bit of a dicey moment there entering the West Horseshoe. Now battle on the inside line by Myatt Snyder, who tried to take 5th position off of Chase Elliott. Elliott will clear him, entering turn 1 of the superspeedway. Down the back straightaway, it's going to be a very close battle between DiBenedetto, who is your race leader, and Brandon Jones, as now Jones takes a look to the inside. Magnussen waiting in 3rd spot. Brandon Jones up side by side to the 2 car. Magnussen trying to make it work 3 wide on the inside. Almost turns the 20. As now the 2 car of DiBenedetto shoots around on the outside line. Near disaster up front. As now DiBenedetto gets a huge lead above the 20 car of Brandon Jones. Still aggressive bump drafting by the 33 car to the 20. At the stripe for 2nd spot, it was the 20 car of Brandon Jones. Now Myatt Snyder takes a look to the inside. Contact yet again between the 33 and 20. 4 wide moment. And Brad Keselowski has gone around. They slide through turns 2. And I can't believe they haven't wrecked up front yet. The yellow flag is already out for the 88 car of Brad Keselowski, who has slid into the runoff. But still, I can't believe that Brandon Jones kept it together. I think Magnussen might have tried to spin him out at least on 3 separate occasions in the last 2 corners. So with the yellow coming this close to the planned stage caution, we have yet to get word on whether or not this will count for the stage yellow. We will update you on that once we get under caution. But Matt DiBenedetto, still currently your leader, is going to have to be playing defense against the 20 car of Brandon Jones as we now race back to the start-finish line. Jones getting the run, as well as the 43 car of Myatt Snyder. Jones takes a look down to the inside. With the push coming from the 43, looks like Brandon Jones is going to take the race lead. Jan Magnussen side drafting the 2 car. Looks like he's going to move up into 3rd position. And at the start-finish line, it is going to be Brandon Jones leading the field back to the caution above Snyder, Magnussen, DiBenedetto, and Martin Truex Jr. So first, let's start off with Magnussen's aggressive move gone wrong. He tries to make it 3 wide entering turn 3 of the superspeedway, makes contact with the left rear of the 20 car, turns him onto the apron, almost starting a big one on the road course. Then entering turn number 1, Magnussen, showing his frustrations with Brandon Jones, tries to shove him into the 18 car, entering the braking zone, but then that forces Magnussen to check up, starting a 4 wide moment. Then through turns 1 and entering turn number 2, there's even more contact between the 19 and 43. Magnussen tries to shoot it through the middle, and there's a moment when they're going almost 5 wide. Incredible racing here at Daytona. And here's why we're under caution. Entering turn number 1, the 53 car of Chase Briscoe makes contact with the 88 of Brad Keselowski, sending the 88 car spinning, exiting turn number 1. Keselowski manages not to hit anything, though, and get it righted, but still, that's why we are under caution for the first time today. So we will be getting 1 lap under green, lap number 13, and then that lap will end with the caution that will determine the stage number 1 winner. Then that will set up the 5-lap dash to the finish to win the Busch Clash. Well, they say that cautions breed cautions. And I wonder if after Brad Keselowski's spin and all the aggressive pushing and shoving we were seeing up front before the caution on lap 10, if we might get a green-white checker. Because today's race, being a non-points race, does allow the official race distance to be extended if we get a caution. This race cannot end under yellow. Green flag. Only a 1-lap dash from here to the end of stage number 1. Matt DiBenedetto already taking a look to the inside of Jan Magnussen, entering turn number 1. And Snyder forces the 20 car Brandon Jones wide, trying to make a pass for the lead, exiting turn 2. And Snyder has taken it. The 43 car out front at Daytona. Side-by-side battle for second spot between the 20 car of Brandon Jones and the 2 car of Matt DiBenedetto. Looks like Matty D's going to take up the second position. Jan Magnussen battling alongside the 20 car for third spot. But Brandon Jones quickly clears him, entering the West Horseshoe. Now Truex battling alongside the 33. Magnussen back on the inside of the 20, trying to get the run for fourth spot. Looks like he will have to reside in fourth, but he has managed to clear the 19 car of Truex. So now a game of defense for the 43 car of Snyder, trying to hold off the 2 car of Matt DiBenedetto down the back straightaway. And Brandon Jones is still within reach. DiBenedetto getting the run down the backstretch, already trying to make the move to the inside. Snyder going to try and cut him off. And it looks like he does it, but the 2 car gives him a shot. Now exiting the final turn. The 20 car Brandon Jones up to the bumper of the 2. The 2 car trying to go for it. Down to the start-finish line. It is going to be Myatt Snyder to win stage number 1 at Daytona. The first stage of the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season. Snyder is your winner of stage 1 above DiBenedetto, Brandon Jones, Jan Magnussen, and Martin Truex Jr. NASCAR on Speed Station is being brought to you by RFJ, the official home of the RFJ AI series. By Knife Friend 725, the brains behind Project Retroval. And by Anthony's Online Simulation League. And there's the green flag with just 5 laps to go in the Busch Clash at Daytona. Myatt Snyder leading the field down to turn 1. Jan Magnussen already trying to make a move to the inside of the 20. Here comes Matt DiBenedetto trying to get the run on the exit of turn 2. Can't quite do it now, has to jump up to the outside of the 43 into the International Horseshoe. Oh, and I just heard an incident in the back. The 1 car of Kurt Busch has gone around. The yellow flag is out. LaJoie as well involved, along with the regular season champion of last season, Eric Jones, off into the grass. We are now racing back to the caution. Matt DiBenedetto has taken the race lead in the kink. Now into the West Horseshoe. It is Snyder in second, with the 33 and 19 cars battling for third position. Through turn 6, Jan Magnussen has just taken up third spot. off of Martin Truex Jr. Yet again, a game of defense for the 2-car of Matt DiBenedetto. Down the back straightaway, it looks like the 43 car of Snyder's easily going to get the run on the 2. Down the back stretch, Magnussen now sides with the 43 car. And Myatt Snyder has taken the race lead through 3 and 4 of the oval. Magnussen right up to the back bumper. Now Truex taking up third. Down to the start-finish line, it is going to be Myatt Snyder, your race leader, above Jan Magnussen. Then Martin Truex Jr., a bit of a 3-wide battle for position with Matt DiBenedetto taking 4th and Brandon Jones holding 5th spot. Truex giving Magnussen a bit of a bump as we now take the caution flag. Well, what did I say about cautions breeding cautions? Near the back, Eric Almirola makes contact with Corey LaJoie, sending LaJoie straight into the Armco barrier. Then back towards the racetrack. The 1 car of Kurt Busch had nowhere to go and slams into the 7. And this contact sends the 37 car of Eric Jones off into the grass, into the tire barrier, and Ryan Blaney had nowhere to go to avoid the 1 car of Kurt Busch, which is where he got the significant front-end damage from. And here's the onboard from Kurt Busch. You see Almirola makes contact with the 7, ricochets back up into the 1 car. And then Blaney makes contact with the rear end of Kurt Busch. Looks like the 1 car's day might be done. Eric Jones was just a victim of circumstance as the 7 car ricochets back onto the racetrack. Makes contact with the 37. Jones tries to hang on to it, but slides in the grass into the Armco barrier. But it looks like he has not too significant damage, might be able to continue in the 37 car. So the 2 cars that are now officially out of today's race due to that incident are the 7 car of Corey LaJoie and the 1 car of Kurt Busch. The 12 car of Ryan Blaney is still in the race. And we are now going to have a 2-lap green-white checkered shootout to decide the finish of the 2021 running of the Busch Clash. And there's the green flag with just 2 laps to go here at Daytona. Myatt Snyder, still your race leader, as the field heads off into turn number 1. Here comes DiBenedetto to the inside of Truex, entering turn number 1. Brandon Jones trying to make it almost 3 wide right now for position. Jones tries to jump up to the outside. The 9 car of Elliott off into the grass. He manages to gather it back up. The 20 car of Joey Logano hard into the outside wall. Right off the bumper of the 37 car of Eric Jones. But we remain green. So now Jan Magnussen running in 2nd spot behind Myatt Snyder. As the field still trying to keep it together. Joey Logano definitely massively off the pace after that huge hit into the Armco barrier, as well as the 10 car of Almirola with significant front-end damage. Brandon Jones has now taken up the 4th position off his teammate Martin Truex Jr. Matt DiBenedetto on the inside line has taken 3rd, as now another game of defense for Myatt Snyder down the back straightaway with less than 2 laps to go. And here comes Jan Magnussen with a huge run up to the back bumper of the 43 car of Myatt Snyder. There's going to be about 5 or 6 cars under a blanket entering turn 1 as we now enter the final lap. 4 car drafting right now in a train down the front straightaway as we see the final lap here at Daytona with the 33 car of Magnussen trying to jump up to the outside. 2 car of DiBenedetto on the inside line, trying to force the 43 car wide. Bit of contact right there between Truex and Brandon Jones. Snyder still holding on. Matt DiBenedetto up into 2nd spot. He drew for the pole, trying to go for the win now in the final lap. through the kink and now into the West Horseshoe. The 43 car of Snyder still holding a controlling lead. He's going to have to control that lead for about 2 miles of the Daytona International Speedway oval. And now up onto the high banks. Only 4 more turns for the 43 car to navigate. There's going to be about 4 cars under a blanket coming back to the start-finish line. Matt DiBenedetto getting a big run down the back straightaway as the 43 car has no help. Magnussen waiting right behind him in the 33 car. Truex within reach. Here comes Magnussen trying to make it work all the way on the bottom. Magnussen with a 3-wide pass down on the inside line. Through 3 and 4 of the oval for the final time. Martin Truex Jr. now getting a huge run up to the back bumper of the 33, trying to take up second. Magnussen with a 3-wide pass coming through the final 2 turns, and we have a wreck. Jan Magnussen wins the Busch Clash as the Gibbs teammates wreck across the start-finish line. Defending champion Kyle Busch got turned before the stripe. And how about that for Daytona International Speedway Road Course's debut in the NASCAR Cup Series? A 3-wide final 2-turn pass and a crash coming back to the start-finish line. Quite the show for the fans and to kick off the 2021 season. Jan Magnussen in victory lane yet again. Believe it or not, this is Magnussen's first ever appearance in the Busch Clash. Definitely took advantage of it. I don't think I've ever quite seen a 3-wide pass coming out of the final 2 turns at a road course. So let's just take a look at what all happened during these final 2 laps. Harvick makes contact with the 9 car of Chase Elliott right after the restart. On the exit of turn number 2, slides the 9 car straight into the grass, but Elliott manages to keep it together. However, not so lucky for Joey Logano, as exiting turn number 2, Eric Jones hooks him straight into the Armco tire barrier, as well as Brad Keselowski trying to hook the 10 car of Eric Almirola. Almirola gets severe front-end damage, but he managed to continue for the next lap. The 10 and 22 cars both did not finish the final lap of the race, as they had to retire their cars due to crash damage. And then how about the road course expert Jan Magnussen on the final lap? You wouldn't expect him to use oval skills this good, like drafting down the back straightaway to get this 3-wide run coming into turn 3, but he timed it perfectly, got down to the inside of the 2 and 43 cars of Snyder and DiBenedetto to lead the field back to the start-finish line and take the win. Remember, he is in this race because of a pole he scored at Palm Beach last season. But now a winner at Daytona in a stock car, not just in IMSA anymore, and not to mention the Gibbs crash back to the start-finish line. So what actually happened coming out of the final turn of this super speedway was the 14-car Boyer cuts down the racetrack. Hamlin tries to give him a bump draft down the front stretch, but ends up miscalculating it and actually turns the 14-car of Boyer up into the outside wall with a hard hit, actually for Hamlin, as Hamlin got turned around by the 18-car of Kyle Busch, who was an unsuspecting bystander in this crash. Briscoe managed to get the 53 car turned beneath him and managed to get around the 11 and 18 cars before the start-finish line. But an incredible final 2 laps of the first ever Busch Clash ran on the Daytona International Speedway road course. Jan Magnussen wins it in a spectacular finish above Matt DiBenedetto, just 1/10 behind him. Then Martin Truex Jr. in 3rd, Myatt Snyder in 4th, Brandon Jones 5th. Clint Boyer, after slamming the outside wall coming back to the stripe, finishes in 6th. Chase Briscoe, the teammate of the race winner, in 7th. Ty Dillon, last season's 500 pole winner and now full-time Camping World Truck Series driver, finishes in 8th. Then Denny Hamlin 9th, Kevin Harvick 10th. Christopher Bell in 11th, Chase Elliott in 12th, Brad Keselowski 13th, Kyle Larson in 14th, Eric Jones in 15th, then Kyle Busch finishes 16th after being accidentally turned around by his teammate Denny Hamlin, then Ryan Blaney in 17th spot. Then we have the drivers who didn't even make it to the finish, those being Almirola, Joey Logano, Kurt Busch, and Corey LaJoie, who all dropped out of the race early due to crash damage. So all of us at the Speed Station hope you've enjoyed our first telecast of the 2021 NASCAR Cup Series season. The next time you'll be seeing us is actually for a Camping World Truck Series event. The Cometic Gasket heats from right here at Daytona International Speedway to set the starting grid for the Next Era Energy 250. From all of us at the Speed Station, we will see you at the next race.